Hello YouTube, this is my aquarium and I hope you are liking it, and you may have many questions on how I did this and how do I do the waterfall without any bubbles being seen. That's because I'm not using the traditional method of using an aerator. I'm actually using a Powerhead. Well, for many, Powerhead means that the sand gets sucked up through the Powerhead and pushed out through the pipes. But actually, this method doesn't really require the Powerhead to suck up any sand or getting some sand stuck into its impellers. Okay, so let's look at what I have for my setup. Okay, so for this setup, I'm actually using a 1-inch PVC pipes all around. Okay, you can use more than 1-inch PVC pipe depending on the connection of your Powerhead. If it supports more than 1-inch PVC pipe, I recommend that you do use it, because the more the merrier. Okay, so for this setup I'm using a 1-inch PVC pipe. You can also use those Aquarium transparent pipes, shouldn't be a problem. As well as I'm using a couple of elbows depending on how you want to do your plumbing works. For this setup, this demonstration, I'm just showing you with 2 elbows. Okay, and you're also going to need a T-joint for the pipes to be joined, as well as the sand to be sucked in. For the T-joint, I did a little modification. Okay, what I did is I slit the T-joint 45 degrees using a normal cutter, and I slit a piece of plastic. It can be from anything. I got it from a name card holder which had a very flimsy plastic on it. I cut it into just a normal square piece and I slid it through, and I hot glued the sides to prevent any water or any leakage of bubbles. So this gave me a sort of a airtight seal as well. Okay, many of you might ask, what's the reason for slitting a 45 degrees plastic into the T-joint? Okay, so let's get into a detailed view. Okay, so when you can see it in a detailed view, it's actually eating more than half of the T-joint space. What this causes is the water to be streamlined or jet streamed to the other side of the pipe. So when the Powerhead is blowing from this end, it gets jet streamed to this end. In that manner, it's actually going to push the sand towards this direction. So the sand will never go to this direction where the Powerhead is, and your impeller will not get affected. So when the sand falls from this direction, the stream of water causes a jet stream effect, pushes the sand towards your fall. So it becomes a cycle. It pushes the sand and the sand falls back, it pushes back the sand and sand falls back. So this is a loop function. So that's where this piece of plastic comes in action. It actually allows the sand to be fall down and slide through and go through the cycle. Without this plastic slit, what happens is that the water will just simply escape through this hole. And if you have seen many YouTube videos, you'll see some sand bubbles or a couple of bubbles coming out from this side rather than having sand fall. So what they do is they give up and they use the traditional method of using an aerator or bubblers to do a waterfall function. So with this, you can actually be more creative with your setup. You can actually do a lot of piping works. Try not to make it too complicated, because too much of elbows and joints will actually have residual sand settling in at the corners. So you can actually modify the other side of the pipe where the water is being streamed through, because there's no sand involved. You can actually mount the power head further away from the whole setup. Another word of advice is you should actually contain this part of the, sorry, that's too big. You should actually contain this part of the sandfall in a container. When you put it inside the aquarium, this container will actually contain the whole let me just do what I want to do and we'll get going. Okay, this container will just act like a sort of a catchment area for the sand to prevent it from going anywhere else. So you can use any sort of a creative mind of how you want to do it. So this is my setup. Please feel free to ask any questions below, and please do subscribe and share this video. Thank you very much.